All right, good morning. This is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Got about 15 minutes I can blow here. Um, kind of excited. See how Indiana's going to show up at home. You're going to get a different energy level for sure, because these NBA players, they seem to be primarily fueled by their home crowd. Uh, I wonder how both teams who are fueled by, not necessarily saying the Thunder is fueled by it, but most NBA teams are affected by the home crowd. And I wonder if you would take the NBA Finals and put them on a neutral situation, how that would reflect the results. And I guess the greatest test to that, or example we can get, is when they had that bubble thing a couple years ago. We didn't have any fans in the stands, so I guess that's what it would look like. But anyway, we don't want to go back to that. The fans add a nice element to events, and we like to see them there. But I don't have much respect for teams who have to depend on that crowd just to perform. So anyway, yesterday, I told you guys I watch or listen to a lot of programs and radio spots, and I happened to catch the Freddie Coleman and I forget who, Harry Douglas, I believe it was, and they were talking to fans about the most viral moments if they had social media back in the past. What would be some of the most social media specific sports memories that would have blew up social media if they had it at that time? Got me to thinking a little bit. I'd like to know, what are your greatest sports moments? And as I thought about that, I've seen a whole bunch of them. I kind of go back to 1980. They brought up the Miracle on Ice. That was 1980. That was also the year that Louisville knocked off UCLA to win the championship. That was in Indianapolis. That was the first Final Four I watched. That's the year the bridge came down in St. Pete. Sports-wise, you might not remember this, but 1980 was the year that Georgia, they had a pretty good team. They were actually looking at a championship that year. Then they come to Jacksonville. And lo and behold, the lowly Florida Gators. Yeah, I said the lowly Florida Gators. Reason why I say that, because they weren't expected to do very much against the powerful Georgia Bulldogs. The year before, if you didn't know, in '79, the Florida Gators did not win one single game. Yes, I did say that. The arrogantly proud University of Florida football team, a lot of fans would be surprised to find that the Gators, yes, the Gators in 1979 to me is modern, they didn't win a single football game. But they came into Jacksonville and they were ready to play, and they pretty much outplayed Georgia the whole time. But Buck Belue happened to catch Lindsey Scott on a little hook route, and he was able to turn, and for whatever reason, Florida didn't play it right, and Scott took it all the way for a touchdown. Just happened to be watching that, and that was the first big sports moment I saw with my own eyes. And I couldn't get the gravity of the moment, because, like I said, I just got into it, and I was real young, and I didn't know the impact that had. But looking back on it, I can see what rivalries mean and how bad you want to beat your rivals, no matter what your record might be. And that was a pretty big moment. But the first, for the interest of what they were talking about yesterday, I'm just going to give you two examples, and they kind of go with each other. The first one was in 1981. That is that the white Hail Mary that the what they call it, the catch, Joe Montana hit him in the corner for that touchdown, and a lot of people think that ended the game. Well, that wasn't the biggest play of the game to me. Dallas got the ball back. Danny White happened to hit Drew Pearson on a slant, and when he hit Pearson on the slant, he had an angle that he was about to go all the way, and at the very least he was going to be in the field goal range. But I believe it was Eric Wright, either him or Dwight Hicks, got a hand on his foot, and it tripped him up enough and knocked him down, and they were able to quell the drive from there. Well, if that man don't get his hand on that foot, you don't hear nothing about the catch. It would have been a great play in the game that sent Dallas to the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 15, to take on the Raiders. And just so happened San Francisco made the play, and they got the stop, and then they went on to stuff the Bengals on the goal line in Detroit to win their first Super Bowl. So the importance of that play sent San Francisco to their dynasty. And one of the things that they brought up yesterday was that the Tuck rule was the one that started the Patriots dynasty. And I'm telling you, this is the thing that launched the 49ers dynasty. Now, the other big play that I want to go that ties into that is not the play that everybody remembers. Go back to 2005 when USC went into Notre Dame, and in that foot-high grass they had in there, and it was back and forth, and Notre Dame was primed for the upset. We all remember the Bush push. But before the Bush push, it came to 4th down and 10. Liner came to the line, surveyed the defense, did that check-off thing that they did. Everybody knew that had any connection with the USC program at that time knew what that play was. Because I remember Norm Child talking about it later, talking about how much balls the kid had to call this play. And he checked off, hit Dwayne Jarrett on a similar kind of play that Danny White hit Pearson on. And this time, Jarrett split him. And he got tackled inside the 10-yard line, and that set up what we know as the Bush push. And the interesting thing about that play is Notre Dame, after giving up the touchdown, they drove in the field goal range and missed a makeable kick of about 45 yards. So had Jarrett scored, Notre Dame would have probably came down and won that game. That allowed USC to continue that winning streak. Now, they eventually lost to Texas in the championship game, but at that time, with the whole world against you, however many fans in the Notre Dame stadium, the high grass, the ghost of Newt Rockne, all that shit, on 4th down and 10, that road team checked off against all of that and split them for about 65 yards. That's how you come to play a football game. It's not like these NBA teams who choke when the lights are shining bright. Let's play football, and football is always going to be the top game because of moments just like that. Now, I brought that up because you talk about the tush push today. Well, the Bush push was the impetus for what you're seeing now with the quarterback running that sneak. And one thing to note about that is at the time it was really illegal for a person to assist you when trying to run the football. I mean, if you got caught pushing somebody, that's supposed to have been a penalty. So that made that play there more significant because a penalty wasn't called. And after that, the rules were changed to allow such things to happen. Again, the impetus of the tush push that you see today with the Philadelphia Eagles. So those are just two mirror moments that I wanted to talk about that they didn't mention yesterday. They talked about the catch, and they talked about the play that everybody remembers. And they have to do that because fans, that's all they remember. I was there moment, and historical kind of thing, so people can know that you're somewhat connected. For anybody that really watches the game, and I've been watching these games as a little fellow, and I got a deep understanding of it, and I know what the most critical plays are. And that tackle by Eric Wright, I think his name is. And what is it? I gotta look it up. It was one of those two, the White Hicks or Eric, I think it was Eric Wright. It was the right cornerback for San Francisco because Pearson was on the left and ran that slant, and he got a hand on his foot and tripped him up. And that stopped that from Dallas from winning that game. And Dwayne Jarrett on that 4th and 10, that's probably the greatest play I've seen. I mean, you tell me what's the greatest play you ever seen. But I just wanted to come on and say something about what I heard them talking about yesterday. Also, you got the game 3 tonight, and Pacers return home in front of their home crowd to see if they can knock off OKC. People still don't want to give OKC credit for being a good team. Now they're talking about they don't play as good as they do when they're home. When they look at the scores, they just don't equate to a team that appears to be great. Well, I'm not saying that they're a great team. I just think they're the best team in the league this year. Now, like I said earlier, teams in the NBA seem to play better at home. It's almost like they can't play without that extra motivation. To be a champion, you got to be able to play on the road, and I think OKC is a great road team. They only lost 14 games the whole year, and even if you lost 14 road games, if all the games you lost were road games, you still playing 42. So what's that, 28-14 road record? I'll take that. And they trying to give everybody an excuse, or the Pacers an excuse for them to win this game. They want to denigrate the accomplishments of OKC. Now, I told you guys before, I think Indiana is going to be up for this game, and it's going to be a little closer than it has been the first two games. I mean, they've been thoroughly outplayed the first two games. It should be down 2-0, and I think they're going to make it a little bit more competitive today. I think Halliburton's going to be more productive. He hasn't been scoring very many points, and when he does score, it's late in the game, almost like it's inconsequential. I think he's going to show up today, and I think the Pacers will give a better fight. Now, if they lose like I think they're going to lose tonight, then the first half of Game 4 is going to tell you what's going to happen. If OKC is up 2-1 and they got a double-digit lead going into halftime of Game 4, then expect the Pacers to fold the tent, because that's what basketball players do. They don't check off at the line of scrimmage like Matt Leinart to hit a Dwayne Jarrett. They don't make the play like Eric Wright on the corner out there against the great Drew Pearson. If you guys remember Drew Pearson, he always seemed to be around to be a killer. Now, at 75, he might have been a rookie that year. He's a guy that caught that touchdown against Minnesota in the division round on the road. And at that time, they were still playing at Metropolitan Stadium, and it was an obvious push-off. I mean, it has to be the worst non-call in NFL history. We pushed the man off, and he caught the ball, and he backed in and scored the game-winning touchdown, and the Cowboys stole one. And you can't tell me if there's a pass interference, that is the poster child for a pass interference. And if you're not going to make those kind of calls, then you shouldn't have any penalties at all. You should just let them all play. Tackle him and do whatever you got to do to keep it from catching that ball. And they didn't do it. But Pearson, he's known for making those big plays, and he almost got San Francisco that day. But it took a great play, and they were able to go on and start the San Francisco dynasty. But that's pretty much it. I just want to come on and talk about what they were speaking about yesterday, and ask you guys what are some of your sports memories. I'm not getting much reaction today. Larry Crumley says hello. Don Basil, how you doing? And Ellie Curtis, also Vlad. I appreciate you guys for chiming in. I'm running a little later than I normally do. I'm usually on about 6:30, 6:45, so apologize for that. But I've been on the move lately. You can look at my eyes here. Had a lot of fires to put out lately. And also trying to get adjusted to this new summer. I don't really have a full load right now, but I'm enjoying my time off. I'm going to spend it. So, but anyway, I appreciate you guys chiming in. And if you got a sports moment, send me a comment and let me know what you think. Until then, there's some breaking news that come back on tonight. But like I say, we're going to have Game 3 with the Pacers returning home, trying to regain control of home court as they go back to their home court. But I just think they find the uphill battle against quicksand, and the quicksand is turning into lava. And you know what lava does to human flesh? It don't take long to burn you up, and I think that's what's going to happen to the Pacers. So anyway, wherever you are in the world, have a great day. Like, subscribe, and I catch you guys on the flip side. So until then, I'm out. I told you guys that Pittsburgh was going to get Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers, with him, we're going to win some football games.